NBA player props here on PrizePicks for Thursday, January 19th. Before I get started, there's a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks, or you can use promo code TUFF to sign up. PrizePicks will match 100% of your first deposit. There's a Discord link in the description as well as Patreon link where I do post all the plays here that I'm making on PrizePicks for each given sport that I do play. I do also need to mention I'm not a gambling expert and this is not financial advice. Simply just plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to make your own player prop decisions. Take the information I give you, combine it with the research you've gathered yourself, and then make your decisions based on that. Let's get into it though. We do have a smaller slate today. I believe there's 5 games on the slate, and we do have an earlier game here, Chicago versus Detroit. This game is being played in France, but 5 games on the slate. So once we get this, I believe 3 p.m. Eastern time start, game over, we'll just have a 4-game slate for tonight. But let's get into it, you guys. 2 props that I do like on this smaller slate. Let's get into it. So the first one is going to be Ben Simmons, and I like his over 7.5 assists here against Phoenix. Now, I'm honestly surprised seeing this a little bit low like this. If you don't like assists, you could pivot and take 15.5 rebounds plus assists, but I like his 7.5 assists here. Kyrie Irving is expected to play in this game. Super close spread at 1.5 point favorites for Brooklyn. Obviously, this game is being played in Phoenix. Chris Paul is still questionable. And then the same starting 4 that the Phoenix Suns have been rolling out here. But it's looking like Ben Simmons is probably going to be matched up with Darius Arch or Torrey Craig throughout the game here. But at 7.5 assists, he has hit the over on his last 2 games, and more specifically, the last 2 games here without Kevin Durant. So Ben Simmons, we see here his game log this season without Kevin Durant. Again, he played on the 12th against Boston and then didn't play in that game that was in between and then played against the Spurs. So this game here was with Kyrie Irving. He had 9 rebounds and 13 assists and only took 3 field goal attempts. And then in the most recent game without Kyrie Irving, he still had 11 assists on 4 for 10 shooting. But Ben Simmons, we can see here, these last 2 games averaging 16 potential assists and converting 11 of those. So 16 potential assists here, converting 11. All we need here tonight is 7.5 from Ben Simmons. There is heavy juice on the over on this, minus 137 on Caesar Sportsbook. DraftKings has this at minus 135. The consensus is over 7.5 at minus 135. So we're not the only ones here looking at this prop, taking the over on it. We can see here also defensive rating over the last 10 games. The Phoenix Suns right here, 7th worst defensive rating at 117.2. We know they have been banged up. A lot of those wing defenders, Okogie, Shamet, Payne, Crowder, Devin Booker out as well. A lot of injuries to that team. So hopefully Ben Simmons can come in here, be effective, look to play make. I mean, I love the 16 potential assists over his last 2 games without Durant. I think Kyrie Irving coming back definitely helps him quite a bit. Just obviously a lethal scorer on the floor with Ben Simmons, who is looking to facilitate. He is not looking to score, which is what we honestly hope for. When you take assist props and you see the player just looking to score or just tagging the basket or shooting, it definitely hurts. So Ben Simmons, the complete opposite of that type of player here. All he wants to do is pass. All he wants to do is facilitate to his teammates. Like I said, Kyrie Irving back helps him here. I do think this maybe has a chance to bump up to 7.5. Again, if you don't like this here, 15.5 rebounds plus assists could be a very viable option as well. He's hit the over on this one. Very, very much so over on this one. His last 2 games as well at 16. He's had 21 and 22 rebounds plus assists. So I like Ben Simmons over 7.5 assists here against Phoenix on the road with a close spread. Again, hit the over on that pretty easily last 2 games. And the other prop here, I'm looking at Scotty Barnes over 33.5 fantasy score against Minnesota. So Scotty Barnes over his last 4 games has been playing extremely, extremely well. 48, 53, 46, and 46 fantasy points over his last 4 games. And some pretty tough matchups. I mean, New York and Milwaukee do have some pretty stout wings / interior defense here. But if you take a look at this, Scotty Barnes, all 4 of these games where he's hit the over on this, 47, 47, 46, and 46 have been road games, right? All road games here for Scotty Barnes, averaging 40-plus fantasy points over his last 4 on the road here. And we see, this is his game log on the road. It's been an up-and-down season for Scotty Barnes overall. You can see this streak of games here in early to mid-December where he had 15, 15, 12, and 13 fantasy points all on the road. If we just take a look at his game log this season, combining it with those home games as well, he has obviously been playing quite a bit better here, really since Christmas time. So you can see here 47. He's hit the over on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 times of his last 13 games. He's hit the over on this 33.5 fantasy score here, Scotty Barnes. But I like the matchup. I really do like the matchup. We can take a look at over the last 15 games. Minnesota giving up the third most points per game to the power forward position. The what is this? 1, 2, 3, seventh most rebounds to the power forward position, and overall fantasy points. They're giving up the right here, seventh most fantasy points to the power forward position at 48.41 fantasy points to the power forward position, which is what Scotty Barnes essentially does play in this offense here. You can see here Scotty Barnes, the 4. I mean, Pascal Siakam is playing the 5 here. You can see Scotty Barnes projected for around 36 minutes tonight. Toronto is 5-point road favorites here. I think this has to do with possibly Rudy Gobert not playing. He was ruled out for yesterday's game. Maybe precautionary. Maybe he does play tonight. If he doesn't play, I love this play even more here for Scotty Barnes. We can see here the Minnesota Timberwolves play at the 8th fastest pace in the NBA, so it's definitely a pace up spot considering the Raptors are down here at 27th in pace. But also take a look at this. Scotty Barnes, of players playing tonight, he's averaging 1.20 fantasy points per minute over the last 5 games. 1.20. So if we project Scotty Barnes conservatively for 35 minutes tonight, he's projected to around 42 fantasy points considering what he's been averaging over his last 5 games. Again, I think an absolute great spot here for Scotty Barnes to bounce back. Here's some power forwards recently against the Timberwolves. Giannis, Zion, Jeremy Grant, Bobby Portis, Aaron Gordon, Marvin Bagley have all hit the over on this. That's 6 different players, I guess, essentially since December 28th. So a little less than a month, actually. 7 different power forwards. But, I mean, Scotty Barnes isn't strictly a power forward. You could consider him a combo. You consider him a guard. You could consider him a forward. You can consider him a center. I mean, he really does it all. For this Toronto Raptors team. So does Pascal, and so does OG Anunoby. These 3 wing defenders here, these 3 wings here are pretty interchangeable as far as who they guard and what they do on offense for the Raptors. So these are the 2 plays here on PrizePicks for the NBA slate today, Thursday, January 19th. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about these 2. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.